Maria wakes up every morning, gets the kids ready, drives to work, answers emails, meets her deadlines. From the outside, everything looks fine. She's not crying, she's not missing work, she's functioning. But if you ask her how she really feels, she'll pause for a second and say something like, I don't know. I just feel like nothing excites me anymore. Like I just going through the motions. She used to enjoy things, now she just does them. And because she's still functioning, nobody around her, and honestly, not even Maria herself, thinks something might be wrong. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Katia Batista, psychiatrist. And that feeling Maria is describing, it has a name. Today, we are talking about high functioning depression. The type of depression that doesn't look like what most people think depression looks like. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you might recognize this in someone around you or maybe in yourself. Now you might be thinking, but she's still functioning. Is that really depression? Yes. And this is something I see a lot in my practice. Depression doesn't always look like someone who cannot get out of bed. There is a type of depression where you keep going, you keep functioning, but inside something is off. In psychiatry, we call this persistent depressive disorder. It's a low-grade depression that can go on for months, even years, without anyone noticing, including the person who has it. In psychiatry, we consider it persistent when these symptoms last for at least 2 years. And the reason is so easy to miss is this. The main symptom is not sadness, it's the loss of pleasure. The technical word is anhedonia, but simply put, it means that things that used to feel good just don't anymore. You still do them, you just don't feel them. That's what's happening with Maria. And that's what makes this type of depression so tricky. Because from the outside, everything looks fine. Now, let me tell you about Lisa. From the outside, Lisa looks like the perfect mom. She's up early every morning, makes breakfast, drops the kids off at the school, picks them up on time, helps with homework, cooks dinner. On weekends, she takes them to their activities, she shows up to every school event. Everyone around her thinks, wow, she has it all together. But at night, when the kids are asleep, finally, and the home is quiet, Lisa sits on the couch and feels completely empty, not sad, not crying, just done, like she gave everything she had and there is nothing left for herself. She used to have hobbies. She used to call her friends. She used to look forward to things. Now she just moves from one task to the next. And the scary part, she doesn't even realize something is wrong. She tells herself, I'm just tired. This is just motherhood. But what Lisa is describing is not just tiredness. It's emotional exhaustion that doesn't go away with sleep. And that's a red flag. Lisa's story brings up something that I want to explain carefully because most people misunderstand it. We often think depression means feeling sad, but in high functioning depression, the main symptom is not sadness. It's something called anhedonia, and is more subtle than that. What many people don't realize is that depression doesn't only take away enjoyment, it also takes away anticipation. You stop looking forward to things, but it goes even deeper than that. It's not just that Lisa doesn't enjoy her weekends anymore. It's that she doesn't even look forward to them. No excitement, no anticipation, nothing. And there is something even harder to recognize: apathy. That feeling of I don't care either way, not sad, not happy, just indifferent, like nothing really matters enough to feel anything about it. This is why people like Lisa don't ask for help. They don't feel devastated. They just feel flat. And flat doesn't feel like an emergency. But in psychiatry, that flatness, that indifference is one of the most important things we pay attention to, because it tells us that something in the brain's reward system is not working the way it should. And the longer it goes unnoticed, the deeper it gets. Now, let's talk about David. At work, David is the guy everyone respects. He is reliable, professional, gets things done. He's been under a lot of pressure lately: deadlines, responsibilities, a demanding boss, but he handles it. He always does. At home, though, things are different. He had stopped sleeping well months ago. He wakes up at 3 a.m. and just lies there staring at the ceiling, his mind racing. He drags himself through the day exhausted. He has stopped going to the gym, something that he used to love. He barely touches his food some days, and other days he eats without even tasting anything. His relationship with his wife has become distant. The intimacy they used to have is gone. He knows it. She knows it. But nobody talks about it. And then there is the irritability. A small thing set him off. The kids being too loud. A comment his wife makes. He snaps. feels guilty, tells himself he will do better, but it keeps happening. He went to his doctor about the headaches and the tension in his shoulders. Everything came back normal. This is something we see often in depression. The body speaks before the person realizes what's happening emotionally. David tells himself, I'm just stressed. This is just life. I don't need help. But his wife sees what he cannot. And one night, she sits next to him and says, David, I think you need to talk to someone. He doesn't answer right away, but something in him knows she's right. David's stories brings up something really important, and I want to be direct about it. We have a very specific image of what depression looks like. Someone who cannot get out of bed, someone who cries all day, someone whose life is visibly falling apart. But Maria, Lisa, and David don't look like that. And that's exactly the problem. In men, specifically, depression often doesn't show up as sadness. It shows up as irritability, as physical symptoms, as withdrawing from the people they love. And because it doesn't fit the picture we have in our heads, men don't recognize it in themselves, and the people around them don't recognize it either. There is also something else that keeps men like David from asking for help. The idea that needing support is a sign of weakness, that they should be able to handle things on their own, that going to see a professional is something they don't need. But here's what I want you to take from David's story. Stress can be the trigger, but what develops over time, the sleep problems, the irritability, the physical symptoms, the emotional disconnection, that's not just stress anymore. That's depression. And depression doesn't get better on its own just because you keep functioning. The fact that you are still showing up doesn't mean you are okay. So, before we finish, I want to leave you with some things to think about. First, know the signs. High functioning depression doesn't always look like sickness. Watch for these. You are still doing everything you are supposed to do, but nothing feels meaningful anymore. You wake up tired no matter how much you sleep. Small things irritate you more than they used to. You have been canceling plans, pulling away from people without really knowing why. You have physical symptoms, headaches, tension, digestive issues that your doctor cannot explain. And somewhere deep down, you know you have this quiet feeling that something is just off, that you are not quite yourself anymore. If you recognize any of this in yourself or in someone you love, that's worth paying attention to. Second, functioning is not the same as being okay. Maria was functioning, Lisa was functioning, David was functioning, and all three of them needed help. The fact that you are still showing up to your life doesn't mean everything is fine. First, please don't wait for things to fall apart before you ask for help. High functioning depression is treatable with the right support, whether that's therapy, medication, or both. People recover. But the longer it goes unaddressed, the harder it gets. Talk to someone, a professional, not because you are weak, but because you are human. And I want you to know, if any part of their stories felt familiar, that's not a coincidence. High functioning depression is real, is common, and is one of the most underdiagnosed conditions in psychiatry, because the people who have it looks fine from the outside. You don't have to be falling apart to deserve help. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is admit that something does not feel right. If this video resonated with you, share it. Because somewhere in your circle there is a Maria, a Lisa, or a David who needs to hear this. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.